What is going on, guys? Kenny here from 619 Guitars and Gear, and today I thought we'd do a little bit different of a video than we normally do. Something I've been wanting to do for a while, and that's go through my guitar collection and show them all to you. You know, some guitars I've had for a while now, and a few of them you've never even seen in any videos. So yeah, figured we can just go through them. I can tell you when I got it, how I got it, if it has a little bit of a story or a deeper meaning. And yeah, just a little bit of a change of pace. But with that being said, let's jump into it. Alright, well, what I thought we could do was start from basically my newest guitar to my oldest guitar. But before we get into things, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, I want to welcome you to the channel. I'd love to have you stick around, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you'd be so kind, definitely give the video a thumbs up, and feel free to leave a comment with any kind of question you have or a comment. And yeah, if you need further assistance with anything, if you're stumped on a project and I can help you in any way, definitely reach out to me. You can go on Instagram. It is at 619 Guitar, and you can message me over there. I'll probably get back to you a little bit faster and just help you with whatever you need, and we can have a good conversation. But with that being said, let's jump into it. First, we're going to start with my newest guitar, and it is this Squire Stagemaster. This thing's pretty rare. It's actually a pretty cool guitar. It is a Squire Stagemaster Mars Music Edition. They only made this guitar for 1 year, and it was year 2000, and it was like a special collaboration, something like that, with the Mars Music Store, who no longer is in business, I believe. And yeah, this thing is really cool. It is a basswood body, has a quilted maple top, and a really nice maple neck with some flaming on it, and I believe a rosewood fretboard. And it is the only Stagemaster, I believe, that doesn't have a reverse headstock. It did come with a, you know, cheap licensed Floyd, and I since then put a Floyd 1000 in it that I had laying around that was in like an old Schecter. And let me tell you, this guitar rips and sounds great. It has a really good tight low end that I really wasn't expecting, and I really love this guitar, and this one is tuned to drop C right now. Alright, well, next up, if you follow the channel, you might have seen the review I just did on this. This is my newest Solar. It is a T27 FBB. This thing is awesome. I ordered it back in June and it finally came. I really love this guitar. It has a mahogany body with a flame maple top and a 3-piece maple neck. It is 26.5-inch scale, and right now I have this tuned to drop F sharp. I had an 8-string and I got rid of that, so I figured I would get a 7-string and put it in a lower tuning, since I enjoy playing 7 strings more, and I can also change the strings and put it in normal 7-string tuning if I want. But I really love this guitar. Definitely has a great sound, just like all my other Solars do. And yeah, I'm glad I finally got it. Alright, well, next in line we have another Solar. This is my Solar. It is an AB1 6S. It is my first Solar and first guitar with an Evertune bridge. I really love the Evertune. It is definitely a game changer. Once you spend a lot of time playing on it and you go back to a regular, you know, fixed bridge or even a Floyd, it's kind of weird because you just get so used to that really crispy tuning, and it's pretty flawless. I love this thing. It is an alder body with a 3-piece roasted maple neck, and the neck is really skinny. Not only, you know, thickness wise, but even the fretboard is skinny, and you can wrap your hand around this whole thing. I did notice the string spacing on this is way smaller than a normal, you know, hip shot fixed bridge or something like that. Super comfortable to play on, and I really love this guitar. Right now this one is tuned to drop B. Alright, well here we have my Esp Ltd Ec 1000 Duncan Model. This thing's really nice. I got this a while back, ended up selling it, and then missed it so much that I bought it back. Yeah, it's just one of those guitars that once I was without it, I really missed it. This has a mahogany body with a mahogany neck, I believe, and is a 24 and 3/4 scale, I believe, and has some nice LTD locking tuners, all gold hardware that is starting to wear out, and just the black and gold look is really nice. And this one is tuned in drop D. Alright, well, moving on, we have a pretty nice Schecter. It is the Sun Valley Super Shredder. This is kind of another one of those guitars that I bought a while back and ended up selling actually to the same person I sold the LTD to, and guess what? I missed it and ended up buying it back. I should probably just stop selling guitars at this point because I always end up missing them. But this thing is really nice. It has a Floyd special on it. I think it's a Schecter exclusive Floyd Rose Hot Rod edition or something like that. It's really not that bad. It has EMG retroactive 70s, I believe, in them. It has a mahogany body with a all hard maple neck and maple fretboard. This thing rips, has a ton of gain, and just screams, you know, 80s, 70s rock and metal. And yeah, I really love this guitar. This thing is in E standard right now. So here we have my second headless guitar that I've ever owned. It is my Ert Headless. I got this on Amazon. They have a few different models, all different types of guitars. Pretty good company. They, you know, have a really good price point, and the quality is not horrible. This one's been completely customized. I put a new top on it. I put a Seymour Duncan Distortion TB6 in it. This one has a redwood body with a 5-piece maple and redwood neck with a rosewood fretboard. Completely custom control cavity, just one volume, no tone, has a push-pull with a 3-way toggle switch. The bridge isn't my favorite, but if it is set up right, it does work great. I do prefer like the barrel tuners on the headless. Hipshot makes some really good headless bridges. But I really like this guitar. It was my second headless, like I said, and it was a really fun project. And this one, I believe, is tuned in drop D also. Alright, well, next in line we have another headless. This was actually my first headless guitar. It is made by a company called NK. You can get them on eBay or AliExpress, I believe. I know it does take a really long time to come. A lot of people end up canceling their order before they even get it. But it seems like everyone does get their guitar eventually, but it does seem like communication is kind of sketchy, and I can understand people's frustrations. I was lucky enough to find this one used locally and drove and went and picked it up. Got it for a great price. It was pink and purple with a poplar burl top. I have since then sanded off the old existing top and sandblasted the body to open up the wood grain, and ended up filling in the wood grain with some red. Put a black base down, filled in the wood grain, then I did a red burst around it. I was kind of going for that Star Wars dark side kind of, you know, Darth Maul, Kylo Ren, red and black theme. And I think it came out really good. It is a ash body with a flame maple neck with a maple fretboard. It is 25 to 25.5 inch scale, so it is a slight fan fret, not too dramatic. Super comfortable to play, has EMG 8185 in it, 1 volume, 1 tone, 3-way toggle. The bridge isn't horrible. It is, I think, some Chinese brand knockoff or something like that. Great playing guitar, super comfortable, really, really small. Obviously, it plays just like a full-scale guitar, but holding it, it feels really small, but it is super comfortable. You can play it in a bunch of different positions. It has fake lumen lay side dots and fretboard markers. And overall, not a bad guitar at all. And this was my introduction into headless guitars altogether. And I really enjoy this. You can actually see the whole project series on my channel if you go back a few videos. It's like 6 or 7 episodes for this one. And then I also did a whole series on the Ert Headless too. So if you want to check those projects out, you can just go to the channel and find them there. But overall, great guitar. This one is tuned in drop A sharp, I believe. And surprisingly, the intonation as well. I found this little trick where if you flip the bridge base plates around, it gives you more adjustments to bring the whole saddles back all together. And it is perfectly intonated, even though it is only a 25/5 scale. At the most, it still handles low tunings pretty well. All right, well, here we have a cheap J-Tercer bass. This was kind of just like given to me. I don't even remember when I got it. I've had it for a while now. I think the body is made out of the same wood as those like little wooden airplanes that you would get as a kid that broke the first time you threw them. It is so light. It is like a paper wood, and yeah, you put it on with a strap and this thing just has complete insane neck dive. But you know, it does sound not too bad. It has a super gloss fretboard, which I hate, but you know, I kind of just use it for, you know, recording bass on my demos and stuff. I also have a 5-string Ibanez bass that is not here right now, which is my main bass that I use. But I mean, I guess you can't go wrong with a free instrument. And I mean, I guess it's not that bad. I reshaped it. It used to look like, you know, a regular Fender Strat, like jazz bass or something. And I kind of made it look like a Tele / Jazzmaster / Strat. But it looks kind of cool. I guess it has a unique classic look to it. And I mean, you can't go wrong with a free instrument, like I said. And this is tuned to drop D, I believe. All right, well, as we move on, next in line would be this really, really cheap Starcaster Strat. I believe Starcaster was a thing before Squire. I'm not really sure, don't know too much about it. Probably wrong. If you know, you can correct me in the comment section. But this one has a funny story. I was browsing a marketplace one day and a kid was selling 2 guitars for $20. And one guitar was this, obviously. It was, you know, black with the white pickguard, and it was completely ravished, missing strings, and just looked like it was thrown around in the junkyard. I don't really know. But the other guitar was an Ltd Ec 256, which looked like it was in a barn fire, was missing all the hardware. And I kind of just saw the headstock and knew what it was, and I knew what I could do to it. And I was just hoping that the neck was straight, and I got it, and the neck was straight. And I, like I said, paid $20 for both of them. I will show you a before picture of that and an after picture here. I really missed that guitar. I ended up selling it for $400 when it was done because I completely redid it. This one needs a little bit of work. I did redo this one. I stained the back and painted the front teal. I put a diagonal mounted Jackson humbucker in it. It has a 5-way switch, a single volume, a stained neck that matches the teal paint job. This thing kind of needs a refret, so I do have it not put together fully. I'm either going to do a refret or just try to buy a neck for it. I'm not really sure. But one day I hope to get this fully up and running because it is a pretty nice guitar and I'd like to have a Strat. All right, well, next in line we have this Solar A26LN. This guitar is pretty special to me, I have to say. It not only was my introduction into Solar guitars, but you know, not to get soppy or anything like that. This guitar has some meaning to it. It goes pretty deep back for me, and yeah, I won't get into too much detail, but basically, you know, back then when I was a little bit younger, I was really heavily into music and loved playing guitar. You know, I played a lot of shows, was in a lot of different bands, and yeah, music was a huge part of my life. And then, you know, things kind of died down. I, you know, kind of got put in a dark place. You know, my mother was sick at the time, and I was struggling with some mental health and addiction things. I'm happy to say things are great now, and I'm doing a lot better and 100% sober. But things kind of were just crappy. And, you know, I didn't really want to play guitar. I sold all my equipment. I think I kept 2 or 3 guitars at the time. And for a while, I barely played and wasn't really into it. You know, one day, really not that long before the pandemic, I have to say, if I'm allowed to say that word on YouTube, I kind of just woke up one day and I really wanted to get back into it. I was always a fan of Ola Englund, always watched his stuff on YouTube. And yeah, I went on Solar's website and I was like, I really want a new guitar. And honestly, buying this kind of reignited that flame. It made me fall in love with playing again. And now my guitar collection is out of control. I think I'm up to 16 guitars. Obviously there is some missing that are in the workshop right now that are in pieces, just some project guitars that I have. But this is my favorite guitar that I own just because it's pretty special to me. And it kind of just marks me getting back into it. So I really love this thing. I believe it's a mahogany body. You have a maple neck, an ebony fretboard, 25/5 scale, and this thing is tuned to drop A sharp. All right, well, second to last here, one day I got a phone call from a buddy saying, you know, I have a few guitars. Do you want them? Give me $100. And I bought this, and I believe a BC Rich V Kerry King signature or something like that. And yeah, I was never a V guy or Rhodes, whatever you want. I got in trouble for calling this a Flying V on YouTube one day. Some kid really let me have it. So sorry if I disrespected anyone, but yeah, I was just never really into this shape, but I figured for the price it'd be cool. And but this is an Alexi 200 Ltd, and you know, it kind of grew on me. I have since then redone this guitar twice. It was white when I got it. I stripped it, painted it teal blue, and named it Blue Lagoon. And then I had stripped it again. Kind of just made it a natural wood color. The back is a darker stain. I made some wood covers for it. This middle one kind of looks like a Pop-Tart. I reshaped the neck. I kind of made a flat spot in the middle. You probably won't be able to see it on camera. You probably can if I flip it like that. But it's actually super comfortable to play. And I wish more necks were like this. It's kind of, I've heard about some guitar companies doing this, and it's really, really comfortable, believe it or not. And then honestly, I was going to sell it, and Alexi had passed away. I am a big Alexi fan, so I decided I'm going to keep this thing around. I really don't play it as much as I should. It is a really nice kind of wall ornament, although, you know, it does get played. It's definitely not as much as I should be playing it, but we're going to keep this thing around. This thing is in drop C sharp right now. All right, well, bringing up the rear, last but not least, this is another guitar that is super special to me. I've had this one the longest out of any guitar that I've owned. It was my first real guitar. I mean, my first guitar was like a Silvertone Strat that I think came in one of those kits with like the little 10-watt amp. But this was my first real guitar, I guess I can say. I remember being pretty young, and seeing this in a local music store and just loving it. They had this one and a blue one, and I literally fell in love with this guitar. And me being young, I was like, oh, Mom, I want it. Can you buy it for me, please? Please buy it for me, Mom. And you know how they were, oh, honey, we'll get it for you for Christmas. And I was so bummed because I wanted it then and there. But whatever, time went on, and I remember Christmas was coming up, and I remember sneaking into my parents' room because I was one of those kids. And, you know, I pulled back the blanket that they used to hide the presents under. And I remember there was a guitar box. And, you know, I kind of peeled back the blanket a little bit more. And I remember seeing, I don't remember if it said like Squire or First Act or something like that. But I remember seeing that. And I literally just deflated, man. I was so upset and so bummed. I covered it back up, like went in my room. I think I cried. And I was just so upset. I was like, you know, I mean, parents don't know any better sometimes. They just, you know, they see a guitar and they're like, oh, he's going to love it. It's blue or something like that. So I don't really, you know, I couldn't really blame them if they did get me one of those guitars. But I just remember being so bummed. And then Christmas morning I woke up and, you know, opened all my presents. And this was the last thing I opened. And, you know, I unwrapped it and, you know, saw the box. I didn't open the box, but, you know, I just put on an act. I was like, oh, I love it. It's so cool. And, you know, they're sitting there like drinking their coffee, just smiling, looking at each other. And they were so happy. And, you know, I just kind of put on an act because, I mean, they don't know any better, so I can't be mad. But I remember just looking at my brother. My brother's been a musician with me as long as I've been playing. He's a great drummer, one of the best drummers I know. But he had this look on his face. And it was just, something was weird. I knew there was a weird look for a reason. So I finally decided to open the box in front of them. And I'm so glad I did because this thing was inside of it. And I remember I was so happy. I was jumping around the house, running around like a maniac, screaming. But I got the guitar I wanted. It was an LTD H250 from back in 2003 or 4. This thing came out. And yeah, I've had this thing forever. It's been through a lot of shows. A lot of shows. If this thing had an hour meter on it, it would probably be broken. But this thing has chunks missing out of it, scratches, cracks in the lacquer. I remember I was playing a show when I was doing one of those tosses where you throw it around your neck, and instead of it flying off and like hitting the drummer like some of the videos you see, this one kind of just stayed on me, but it went back and it smacked my amp so hard. So it does have a little crack here that's actually gotten a lot bigger. I thought it was in the wood itself, but it is just in the clear coat. But I was so scared and so bummed when it happened. I remember I took it right to the shop after the show, and the guy was like, no, it's just in the clear coat, and I was so relieved. But all these years later, the headstock is still on. It's been through 2 fret levels. It could probably use a refret altogether. But this thing sounds chunky as heck, looks and plays and sounds great still. And I will never ever get rid of this guitar. I believe it is a maple neck that is a neck through design. And I believe it has like agathis wings, since it's a neck through. I don't even know if they use that as a wood in guitar building anymore, unless it's a nickname for a different type of wood. But yeah, I'm not really sure. But for being whatever type of wood that is, this thing sounds great. Like I said, it sounds super chunky, really clean, crisp. But it did come with chrome covered Duncan designed pickups in it. But I since then, pretty early on, put EMG HZs in it, and that woke it right up. Sounds great. It was used for many different genres of music, metal, pop, rock, everything. And it's really never failed or let me down. And I believe right now this is tuned to drop C. But I absolutely love this thing. It will stick with me forever. It stuck with me through that whole dark period I went through when I didn't really play much. This was one of the guitars that I've kept. And yeah, I will keep it and pass it down one day. But this is probably, out of the 2 guitars that I own that have a lot of meaning, this is the most special one for sure. But I love this thing. And like I said, it will stay around forever. But that's it for this video, guys. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe if you would like. And yeah, stay safe, drink a lot of water, be a good person, and we will see you in the next video.